As I sat in the pilot seat, strapped in and ready for launch, I thought about what people would say when they heard what I was doing. Do-it-yourself space travel isn't something you see every day after all. Maybe you've heard of the stuntman amateur rocket scientist who made his own spaceship and piloted it into the sky to prove the Earth was flat. There was a Rolling Stone article written about it. Most people who think the Earth is flat aren't capable of building their own rocket ship, and they definitely don't have the guts to fly it themselves. But then again, I'm not most people. This new craft was much more sophisticated than the previous model. The company responsible for building it was one of several who built prototypes for the government contract to resupply the space station, before SpaceX won the bid. They lost, but secretly built a working spaceship anyways. After it was complete, they called me, the famous Flat Earth space pilot, to be the one and only passenger on the inaugural flight. They said they believed my theories and wanted to help me prove the truth to everyone. The ship would be outfitted with high-tech sensors and recording equipment to prove to all the doubters the truth about the shape of the Earth. Like any intelligent person knows, it's a giant disk floating in space that looks like a large blue vinyl record. And I was about to prove it. The equivalent force of 1,000 tons of TNT was strapped to the back of the ship, and as the countdown completed, I felt it ignite, the kick of it like a shotgun blast in my ass. My body grew heavier and heavier as I was forced back in my seat, my face flattened by the G-forces. The ship shook violently and was thrown from side to side, my teeth rattling in their sockets as I exited the atmosphere. Stars could be seen coming into focus despite the time of day, and I realized I was in space. Base Command started to say something along the lines of congratulations when the communication system went dead. One bank of monitors went blank, and yet I felt the G-forces propelling me further into space. At a certain point, I realized we had grossly overestimated the amount of rocket fuel needed to reach orbit. The spacecraft was exiting the vicinity of Earth at a velocity that terrified me, and I reached out to hit the button to abort the engines. Smashing the red button with my palm, it did nothing. I hit it again, and the cheap red piece of plastic fell off, rolling across the floor. The ship continued its trajectory, blasting off towards the stars. I watched out of my window as the world grew smaller and receded into the distance so rapidly it was difficult to see its shape. The radio stayed dead and silent as I tried to find some other way to stop the ship from continuing to burn its thrusters. Finally, I felt the engines die as the fuel ran out. But by then, it was too late. The ship was zooming steadily away from Earth, the planet's gravity no longer acting on it sufficiently to slow it down. I screamed into the radio transmitter, hoping someone would answer to help me turn the ship around. But there was no response, only static. Flying out towards the stars, I began to hyperventilate. Earth was getting further and further away with each passing second, and I had no way of getting home. I pictured myself floating lazily through the galaxy forever, steadily gaining speed and zooming faster and faster past stars and spiraling disc-shaped planets. Never stopping, only gaining speed and cruising with increasing velocity. Just as I felt as if I might pass out from the anxiety and panic I was feeling, I saw something up ahead. In the midst of all the stars, a hole of pure blackness opened up. It spread wider and revealed a chasm that grew and grew until it enveloped the entire spacecraft. Once inside, I couldn't see anything. All was darkness. Even the chair I had been sitting in was gone. It was like I was floating in a pure black void. Terrified, I called out for help. Analyzing. A robotic-sounding voice came from all around me.
Congratulations!
A loud chime sounded, resembling the noise from a game show when someone wins a prize.
We have been observing your progress for some time now, and we are very pleased with what we've been seeing.
The voice was familiar, I realized. It sounded like a popular radio show host I had heard 1,000 times. The words spliced together from things they had said in the past to form sentences. It was the only way the aliens could communicate in our language, I guessed. Maybe they used some other way of talking, through smells or tastes, like insects with pheromones.
One last test needed to be passed before we could accept you in the Intergalactic Federation of Planets. And you've done it. You've successfully traveled beyond the orbit of your planet's moon, and we're the first of your kind to do so. What do you have to say for yourself? You must be an extremely intelligent primate for you to be capable of such feats.
Thanks. I've been told that a few times, but it's nice to hear it from you guys.
Would you like to ask us any questions? Anything at all? We have all the knowledge in the universe at our disposal. This is not a test. We only wish to help your species succeed and thrive, to continue to do great things.
I thought about this for a few moments. Before deciding, I had to ask the one question on my mind. These beings being clearly super intelligent, all-knowing and all-powerful, everything I did was being recorded, so this could prove it once and for all, beyond any doubt. Can you please explain to the people of Earth that our world is flat and pancake-shaped? I asked. I keep trying to tell them, but they won't believe me. The voice, which sounded like Casey Kasem, said nothing for a few long moments, then made a loud, exasperated sigh.
Shit. Well, pack it up. This one's a dud. Let's move on to the next galaxy. Are you sure? Maybe we can just eat them instead. Oh, now there's an idea. I like that. Waste not, want not, as these ones like to say.
Eyes appeared out of the darkness. Hundreds and hundreds of eyes, attached to black, oily-looking spider creatures who were 10 times larger than me. They began reaching out towards me with their long, hairy appendages. My heart pounding fast with fear, I screamed. The 2 giant spiders began to wrap their bristle-covered arms over me, as if inspecting me.
He certainly doesn't smell very appetizing. No, he doesn't, does he?
The eyes looked away from me, towards each other. Then they began to move away, back into the darkness. The overall blackness receded, and I found myself sliding backwards, out of the round portal. My trajectory taking me straight down towards Earth again. It had felt as if the ship had disintegrated around me when I had been with the creatures a moment before, as if it had vanished from reality. But now, it was back again and shaking all around me as it accelerated. As the blue planet came into focus, I was too distracted by what I had just seen to really take in the curvature of the Earth, or lack thereof. I was just overjoyed to be alive. Suddenly, the front of the ship burst into flame as I re-entered the atmosphere, and the communications array lit up again miraculously. I heard confused voices speaking in my ears.
Is that him? How the hell did he get back here? I thought we blasted the son of a bitch off into the sun.
Base Command, this is Eagle 1. I am coming in hot. Mission accomplished and then some. I took some sweet pics up here and even met some aliens. You guys aren't gonna believe it. I landed safely and in secret, unbeknownst to the general public. The whole operation didn't go exactly as planned, but I couldn't be more pleased with the results. There is one thing that has changed since my encounter with the space spiders. All those places where the giant black alien spiders touched me, they don't look quite right. First, there were little pinpoint wounds that bled occasionally. Then, they started to seep white and yellow gunk, getting red and itchy. But now, it's getting even stranger. The wounds are getting furry, with little balls of white cotton candy fuzz growing from within, bulging and swelling inside my flesh. Like those little spider egg nests you see sometimes, hanging from the corners of your ceiling. I'm more than a little scared of what might be growing inside. And how big they're gonna get.